Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to shed more light on the soft power and its role during the attrition war and arriving or reaching the 6th of October war, as we are celebrating the golden jubilee of the 6th of October victory, 50 years since the greatest victory we had in our modern history. To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Mr. Osama Fateem, our artistic critic. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Fateem.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me.
Sir, when it comes to our soft power, to our art, to our songs, to our music, to our cinema, to our movies, there are things which cannot be forgotten. And the role of soft power during the attrition war, it was really great. And when we mention artists like Abdel Halim Hafid, for example, along with Salah Jaheen or El Abnoudi, this bundle of artists we had, they really did great to enrich our cultural heritage in general and to have their positive role in this period in specific. If you please, I'd like you to shed more light on that.
I would love to, of course. Well, you've forgotten the main one, Baligh Hamdi.
Sure.
After the defeat of 1967, basically, Baligh Hamdi got a nervous breakdown and went to the TV in Maspiro, where you are right now, and basically started screaming in the lobby, saying that he needs a studio right now to start working on songs and things that will make the defeat, basically document and pick up the morals of the Egyptians.
Yeah.
So and eventually the head of the TV at that point gave him what he wanted. And Abdel Halim Hafid, Baligh Hamdi, El Mugi, El Abnoudi,
Salah Jaheen, Kamal Al-Tawil, a bundle, as I said.
Yes. All of them stayed, put night and day.
I mean, sir, if you permit me to put my question in other words, they shouldered this responsibility knowing well that they do have a role. How do you see this role? I mean, and the awareness of the Egyptian people that what they are listening to is part and parcel of their life. And it's encouraging them to know their rights, their duties, and to increase or to boost even the sense of belonging with our citizens, and how Egypt is a first priority for all.
That is correct. And what happened was that they produced ابنك يقول لك يا باطل. They produced بلدنا على الترعة بتغسل شعرها. They produced أحلف بسماها وبترابها. Songs that are still listened to, even though not today in day-to-day life, but in the occasions of a national celebration.
Yeah.
And then we have to go again for the soft power regarding songs. We have Kulthum.
Sure.
Kulthum, with the military efforts, she decided, of course, in one of her concerts, she went to, Nasser was attending in the attrition after the defeat, and she basically took off her jewelry and gave it to him. Mm-hmm. And other ladies in the crowd, in the audience, did the same. And then she decided, and of course it was a funny thing that what would he do with jewelry? So he called the head of the central bank, who was also attending, and basically asked him to document all that, and this is for the military efforts. Mm-hmm. After that, she decided to go all over and sing with the revenue going to the military efforts as well.
Yeah.
And her most famous two concerts in Paris, where
in Europe.
I mean,
yes.
Hey, we can talk about that in a separate episode or a separate show. But basically, she was paid the highest price ever at that point. And by just arriving to Paris and saying that she will sing, people did not buy the tickets because they could not believe that she will come.
Yeah.
And then when she did, basically the whole Arab population in Paris and in Europe, the lines started to come, and tickets were bought, and a lot of black market tickets were bought then.
Yeah.
I know that for sure because one of my uncles was one of them who bought from the
Yes.
black market there.
And since you mentioned Baligh Hamdi after the 6th of October
He did the
victory.
same thing. He, Abdul Halim, and Tawil, and Al
No, I
Abnoudi,
mean,
and all of them, they did the same thing.
and this
They,
couple, Baligh and Warda and Ana ala Rababa Baghani, it was in few hours they
yeah,
managed to produce
right
this
away.
piece of art. And it
Basically,
was
we're speaking
also,
about
yeah,
genies talking to this guy's head and producing music,
yeah,
and talking to these poets to produce words. And of course, the singers are there. The same with Abdul Halim after that. عاش اللي قال لرجال عدوا القنال, speaking about President Sadat.
yeah.
May he rest in peace. And then, well, all the songs continued.
Yep.
So if you speak about soft power, these are the ones.
If you permit me, sir, because we're running out of
time.
time, I'm going to move to cinema, to movies. And, you know, many of our armed forces heroes said about the attrition war as the greatest war we had. In 6 years, we rebuilt our military, our army, and we managed to reach this critical point, the 6th of October war. أغنية على الممر was produced in
That's what I was going to
1972.
talk about. Yes. It's a play written by Ali Salim.
Yeah.
Who was, and then the movie was made by Mustafa Muharram. He wrote the script. And it was made by the great Mahmoud Mursi, Mahmoud Yassin, Salah al-Saadani, Salah Qabil. And the story of that one is, it was aired or premiered in 1972.
72.
So it was still before the War of October, of the Great Crossing. And then afterwards, I mean, that was the story about 6 people, 6 soldiers.
Yeah, who were trapped
Yeah.
in a corridor. Yeah.
Yeah, trapped by the passageway. No communication with the leadership. They realized that we were beaten badly, and they had no water, no food, nothing. And they lost it till the last minute, till they died, as simple as that, swearing that the not one tank, Israeli tank, will cross that passageway. And it happened. I mean, that was the movie. And it showed each of them. They are the poor Egyptians, the average Egyptians, the ones that basically would give their souls to their country without even questioning it.
Yep. Right after that, we are going to move to Sons of Silence or أبناء الصمت. The bullet is still in my pocket. الرصاصة لا تزال في جيبي. بدور. You know, we do have 3 or 4.
And العمر لحظة.
And العمر لحظة, of course, by Magda. Magda was a producer, and in the same time, of course, she was one of the beauties we had. She had this responsibility of patriotic movies. But I want to have your opinion regarding those movies, and if they were really reflecting the heroic deeds our armed forces did in the 6th of October war and before that in the attrition war, or still we need to have more movies and more artistic works in general regarding this era.
No amount of movies will ever give our heroes, our martyrs, enough credit for what they did and what they offered. They all gave the ultimate sacrifice, either by dying in the war or by just participating in it in conditions that basically said nothing but that we will lose. And we did not. We basically, I mean, the Israelis say that it was not a complete victory, which is technically, we might say that, but in our collective conscious, that was a pure heroic victory for us. So the movies you mentioned for Egyptians, The movies you mentioned are great. They have, yes, they have assessed what happened. They have assessed the society and the situation, and they showed the criticism that was the freedom of criticizing Nasser and his regime was not available till we lost in 1967.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he said that. He basically allowed that. He criticized, let the people see what happened, and not all of them were produced after President Sadat took over and after the victory.
Yeah.
That being said, we still need to know the real documentation and what really happened, even though the military historic committee produced a lot of books and a lot of documents, and people can still get access to it with difficulty. But the main thing here is that we do not have all the information. So from this podium, I'm asking for more information about what happened in 1973. Hopefully that will be allowed and given.
And it's going to be a great chance to tell our youth who was Ibrahim Rifai, for example, who was
Exactly.
Abdulmenem Riyad, who was Saadeddin Shazli. We do have such names who deserve to be on top of the examples of the role models we have for all our youth and for the coming generations. Well, Mr.
I
Osama
agree
Fateem.
Completely with you, and I have to add something about Saadeddin Shazli. He had a disagreement with President Sadat during the war, and he was lifted, or he was not taken out of his position. But then he was completely oppressed during Mubarak's time because he was his boss, and Mubarak was a jealous ruler. And I can continue criticizing that person forever, but still, yes, you are right. The youth, unfortunately, today is 50 years since this happened. So those who have 50...
We do have respect for all the armed forces commanders, sir, and our late presidents. Mr. Osama Fateem, our artistic critic, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Well, by this we come to the end of our episode of our breakfast show today. Tomorrow is another episode with another crew. Stay tuned on Nile TV International always for more updates, and for more details please log on to www.nileinternational.net. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermina.